What up, everybody? It's your boy Evan, one half of Emmeff Pearl. We got the other half sitting behind the cameras, making sure that we rolling. We got David back there,
Hey everyone.
and you know what it is, man. We be doing it always. Legends only. Legends in the building. Look no further. Live at MFHQ. Disclaimer. Live at MFHQ is in fact not recorded live. It's actually a pre-recorded program. This episode contains sexually explicit content, so feel free to do what you wish with that information. If you could be so kind of like, follow, and subscribe from me. We go a very long way. New episodes every Wednesday. Now back to the show. Yes, sir. As always, man, appreciate y'all watching. So whatever platform it is that you're watching or listening to the program on, make sure that you're showing love on it. If it's YouTube, make sure that you're giving it a like. Make sure that you're subscribing to the channel so that you can go ahead and keep up with all other episodes of not only live but also midnight sessions as well. If you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, I think you save it, you rate it. Make sure you give us 5 stars. The support that you guys do really helps us get up there and just get across eyes from everyone who's searching for what we're talking about. So appreciate the love so far. We've been killing it. It's been fun so far starting this project, and we're just keeping it going now. So without further ado, we got our next guest. It was a really cool experience meeting him for the first time because it's like a unique way of meeting him, I guess you'd say. It was a crazy time for me, so getting to go ahead and go out there and experience a session of his work, it was really awesome. He's born and raised from El Paso, but he's found his way in San Diego now, and for the last, we'll get into it, I want to hear these details. For the last so many years, he's been going ahead and evolving as an artist and becoming a really, really just awesome tattoo artist with a lot of other works surrounding the entire brand. A lot of cool style, black and gray, great work, man. And it was a really cool experience to take a trip to go meet him. And so for the first time, it was really awesome. And so now I'd like to go and have him sit at the stew so we can talk a little bit more. So without further ado, our next guest, we got Mauricio Pastor in the building. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hello. What's up, guys?
Yeah. Man.
What an intro. Thank you. Kind words.
Yeah. I'm getting better, man. It was rough the first time.
More comfortable behind the mic.
A little bit, yeah. I'm getting a little bit of a routine.
No,
but
I like it.
I botched Kristen's, but we got it clean. We made some. We got some
in post.
humor
We
out
cleaned
of
it up
it.
in post.
Yeah, a little bit. We had we put a deliberate technical difficulty on it. Obviously.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're like, I'll fix it in the back end.
Yeah, man. So it's been a couple years since I had first met you. I had went to go and get a really important tattoo. So it was really cool. It was a little bit of a cover up and everything, but at the same time, it was also a very meaningful and the message behind it. And it's still shining. It's the first episode where I put on some shorts, man.
Hell yeah.
So I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but we'll get it on camera at some point. But
Healed and hairy.
yeah, man. I had to go back to the gym with just a big old bald spot on my shin. But
You didn't want to match the other side and just shave the front of the shin on the other side?
Man, that'd have been weird, man. That'd have been weird. But it was really cool and I appreciate it. But over the course of the last couple years, maybe what's been some of the biggest changes since how you been essentially, you know what I mean?
Things have been good, dude. Just the daily grind for sure. I kind of just try to stay in the same zone. But a couple big things. My girlfriend and I moved in together 4-5 months ago. So that was cool.
Nice.
It's been cool. She has a cat, or we have a cat.
Like a new spot or something?
No, I've been living in the same spot for a couple years now.
True.
And I had the space, so that's been pretty dope. We've taken a few trips. Still working in the same spot in San Diego.
Same building and everything?
Same building, same room.
That's a clean studio, man.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
It's off the ground floor, so we don't get a lot of random people walking in.
Mm-hmm.
But also that's kind of fun too, because throw a little of variability when you have random people coming in the door. You're like, what's about to go down real quick?
Yeah.
But
what's the name of the studio again?
it's After 10.
Okay, it's the same.
Yeah, so I work here in After 10 Tattoo on San Antonio, I believe, downtown. Angel Reynosa spot. But we both have the studio out there. But no, dude, pretty low key. How you been though?
Chilling, man.
That's what's up.
Yeah, dude. Staying with everything that I've been trying to do since the last time that we had talked and everything.
Okay.
A lot of the projects I had told you about,
Yeah,
still
yeah.
working with musicians.
That's what's up.
But speaking of musicians, I was going through the website trying to do some. You seen Hot Ones first of all? Have you seen Hot Ones? The Hot Wings interviews. You know how he's like really well renowned for his research as an interviewer.
From what I've seen, yeah.
I was doing my Sean Evans. You know what I mean? I was on the website and I had saw that you described your early years as someone who supported and promoted the music scene.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you mean? How can you go into details of that?
A lot of the homies were just in the hardcore scene growing up, and
Were you ever a musician?
no, I was-
Nah.
that's why I started
Supporting
I
it?
mean, I had a little shitty screamo fucking band, but
True.
I wouldn't say musician. For me personally, I don't play anything. But you know, a lot of the guys they kept going with it. They kept putting out EPs, touring, doing stuff like that, and that's where a lot of the trying to put shows. I mean, I didn't produce any shows, but you know, just attending shows and trying to support the guys there, and that's how drawing kind of came up. And so I just wanted to start doing designs for the homies to be able to sell their merch while they were out doing their tours. So, I mean, just trying to cultivate that side. For a little bit, I tried doing the photography thing, but it just never came. It never went into fruition, you know?
It remained a hobby, you'd say, because you stick with it, right? Like, we even talked about cameras for a bit.
Yeah, here and there, here and there. I was just appreciating your guys' light setup because I invested in some too recently, and still trying to figure. I was doing a lot more film, a lot of 35 millimeter,
Like
and
where you go and develop it and all that.
I'm not gonna do all that. You know, I'll pay somebody to do that. The people who know how to do that.
True.
There's a place called or a couple of the homies called I'm Still Developing out in San Diego. They'll do projects in LA and in New York, I think too. And they develop a lot of my girlfriend's stuff. But I just don't do photography in that way so
Yeah.
much. So I think my angle is just tattooing, but photography is still like a big important part of that aspect. So I just stick to digital now. It's the easiest thing for me for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never even touched a film camera, I think.
No,
Nah.
never.
Okay. Yeah, I think. Yeah, nah. I might have picked one up and not even knew it. You have a film camera, right?
Yeah.
See, okay, yeah, I picked one up.
Are you
But I
pretty
never
well
used it.
versed with it or nah?
I took yearbook in high school.
Oh fuck yeah, that's
and
what's up.
we would develop our own film.
Yeah, I
and all
did.
that.
What school did you go to?
Riverside.
Oh, okay.
Riverside.
The
High
only
School.
side.
Lower Valley.
Who you with?
Dude, that just reminds me of Juice.
Is that the movie?
Yeah.
Dude, I've never seen it.
Oh my god.
I know what movie it is, but I've
Dude,
never seen it.
Tupac just says Riverside, motherfucker.
Oh,
It
okay,
just-
that's where
yeah.
that's from.
Yeah, yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Would have never known.
I just watched it like a couple months back, and I just anyway.
Man, nah, I guess I gotta check that out in Belly. You heard of Belly? It's got
No.
DMX in it.
No.
Yeah, there's like a whole famous scene on how the movie starts. It's like an iconic opening scene. It's nothing cinematic or anything, but it's pretty cool.
DMX, it's iconic.
It's cool, man. It's cool. Shoot, man. So, would you? I want to find a starting point for visual arts. So, would you say that you kind of said supporting musicians by doing designs for them? Is that
Right.
Would you really say that that's kind of the starting point of it?
Visual, I would probably go back to the earliest memory that I have of something that I loved, art, photography, high school.
So it goes about okay.
Yeah, high school, that was like my first love that it's still there with me for sure. I just don't like give it the attention. It just remained like a hobby. But yeah, we had a teacher in high school and they were about shooting 35 mil. We had a dark room that we would set up, and that's when we would develop pictures and just enlarging the photograph and doing it that way. That was the first time that I ever got into any sort of artistic expression,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Where did you go to high school?
Coronado.
West Side boy.
Yeah.
West Side boy.
Yes, sir.
Upper Valley. Okay. So when you did start to draw,
Mm.
do you feel like you were natural at it?
Fuck no. I
Nah,
still don't feel that way.
nah, dude.
I feel I have to grind it out for sure. I have some homies who are just naturally gifted at at proportion and scale, and they just understand. It's like, I mean, I wasn't around when Beethoven was around, but I liken it to that, where it just flows. They just get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's something I've had to learn, but it's mainly been in the pocket of tattooing. Like, that's the lens that most of my illustrations are based from. Um, but I mean, I went to UTEP for a while, and I took some basic design courses there and some drawing there, but it's still something that I have to practice every day. Like, every new tattoo that I draw feels like it's just,
A learning lesson.
yeah. Sometimes I feel like I'm fucking drawing with a pen in my mouth, because like I'm just like, it's a rose that I've drawn this rose millions of times, and I still don't feel like I can
Yeah.
draw it correctly sometimes. So
Man.
yeah.
All right. So what I wanted to ask really quick, you sparked a new question. So when you start to draw, you're already kind of translating it into a tattooing space. But you do have some screen printing experience. So in my experience with screen printing, I learned how to sort of design on Illustrator
Okay.
a design that's gonna translate to a screen. So like everything becomes black because of what you're gonna like burn through the screen and all that,
Okay.
and then you separate it by color.
Right.
Unless you do like RGB or whatever or CMYK.
Isn't that how you do it? CMYK?
Well, what I learned was to just use an actual color.
Oh.
Like in everything I designed, I had to go ahead and do it in like solid colors rather than gradients or like a
Right.
photo or anything
Right.
like that. So, because I know if you do CMYK, that allows you to screen print like really detailed blends of color.
Right. Right.
What I learned was just using, how do you want to call it, spot colors?
Yeah.
Like just one color. So I can count how many colors are on the design.
Right.
Because that's how I would think about it.
Right.
What kind of things did you start to, I guess, kind of like guide yourself within?
Yeah.
When you're drawing for tattooing, what are you doing? Doing like solid, thick lines always? Are you only doing it in one color? What's that?
Within the ranges of tattooing, right?
Yeah, like if you're beginning to draw,
Mm.
and what you're drawing is usually intended to become tattoos,
Right.
what kind of stuff do you have to account for when you're drawing it?
Oh, it changes every time. But I think first and foremost, it depends on what the client is asking me to make for them. And sometimes some people want something with a finer line. Some people want something with like something more traditional, something bulky, not bulky, but just with a stronger, bolder line. So then there I have to consider the amount of details within that style. So like my needle grouping is going to change, and with the amount of thickness in the line, then I can get away with more or less details depending on what it is. And aside from the needle like grouping, it'll be, where is it on their body? Then I'll have to design that piece depending on where it is, accordingly. Whether it's, I'm not going to draw something on the outside of the arm as the inside, or like do the same thing on an arm on a leg. It's just built differently. It's like you can't do a mural, you can't copy and paste a mural for the most part, right? I imagine on this wall and then just take it to another one that has a different aspect ratio. It's just not going to work.
Yeah,
because you have more or less space. It's different. It's taller. It's wider. So I think depending on whatever people give me, then I'll adjust. But I try and ask those questions beforehand, like, oh, you want a lady head holding a flower. Do you like it facing forward, 3/4? You want it profile? Like, what do you like about this idea that will help me be able to put it together for you most effectively? So I try to ask, like, what is it that you need in it, and what are you okay with getting what I get away with artistically?
On the
I hope that answers the question.
yeah,
Yeah.
on let's say for mine, for example, a shin tattoo, I'm able to go ahead and give you, I guess, like a rough estimate of how big the tattoo's gonna be, but
Mm-hmm.
you still kind of have to eyeball a bit, especially if someone's traveling, like,
Right.
and then you don't really get to see them beforehand or anything.
Right.
I guess, how tedious has that been, learning to understand like people's limb sizes? You know, you start to like draw first, and now you're over here kind of like understanding how a flat design can like translate onto
Curve, like a cylinder.
yeah, you know what I mean. What's
Yeah.
like what would be the hardest limb to tattoo? Maybe not a limb, but like maybe the elbow, or you know what I mean. What really has like the most challenging?
I think torso pieces can be a bit tough.
Yeah,
Just because of how much they shift. Arms tend to be a little bit flatter. So your shin, since it's flat, it doesn't move. That shin stays there.
oh yeah, true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So there's not like I don't have to compensate a lot for a lot of the design because of the location. But yeah, like an elbow, like those things move a lot. So sometimes if you're gonna put something there, it has to be not a lot of detail, or you're working off of it instead of on top of it.
Yeah.
I think it just comes with the time and
Yeah.
the style for sure.
With something like an elbow, I'm sure you've done some pieces where like it expands like on purpose, intentionally. Have you?
Like a blowfish that like gets bigger or something.
I guess anything like that, but well, have you done anything where like if let's say like a roly poly, for example, and like it
It just
unfolds.
crunches up.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. I've seen that. There's some pretty clever designs. Like it's a
I don't
mo-
wanna
it's
say
like a
gimmicky
closed
all too much.
It's a closed beetle, and then it opens up, and it's like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
maybe one or two, but
Whether it's intentional or not,
yeah,
before you actually lay the outline
Yeah.
on the canvas on the
Yeah,
body,
right.
like let's say it's gonna be on something that's gonna be bending like that. Are you kind of seeing with paper first, like how it's gonna look like, or
Yeah.
you do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you just have to anticipate.
What do you do? Like cut the paper like in slits and then like be able to bend
Sometimes I'll just print it out and just like see how it looks.
it? Okay.
And then I think the nice thing about working on I think I've been primarily using iPads for the past few years. It's super easy to manipulate the design to where like I'll stencil it on, and once I see it, I kind of just like let my intuition tell me shorten the wings up a little bit, or stretch this out a little bit more so it fits more naturally. But that's something that I do consider about how tattoos sit, is just like how are the designs going to look like when they're bending their arms and their limbs, and you know what I mean, just so everything looks well when that's happening, because you're constantly moving too, right? But at the same on that note, there's been a lot of folks that like want a design in a specific place, and they like wig out because it moves. It doesn't stay like it's like a line here or like some text here, and like, oh, but it moves. It's like, well, if you want art that doesn't move, put it on your fucking wall. You know what I mean? So it's like you're a moving, living, breathing creature. It's gonna be moving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Organic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that, man. I feel like tattoos are a huge commitment. When was your first tattoo?
I was 15, bro.
Yeah?
Yeah, my mom was.
Parents know about it? Nah?
Oh yeah, fuck yeah! It was the first thing I did when I walked in the door. I walked in through the front door. I went to the kitchen. I was like, "Hey, mom." She's like, "Hi," and I was like, "I got tattooed." And she's like, "Where?" And they're like these owls behind my ears.
You got behind the ear tattoos?
Those were the first ones, and she was livid. She's
Man, I
like,
bet.
"Why?" And silent. Like I didn't. She was so pissed off that she didn't even say nothing to me. She just didn't know. I left her speechless.
Man.
I think she's still hoping it's a phase. So
They're gonna come off later.
yeah, for real.
You get in trouble at school for that or not?
No, I mean,
It's because they made LeBron James cover his tattoos
Oh,
as a
did
high
they?
schooler. Yeah, he had to wear big old pat. I guess because it's nationally televised. I don't know.
the goat. Is that why you got that
I
thing?
don't know. second
You're like,
place.
I
Yeah.
don't know about the GOAT, but
Second best player. I'll give him that.
okay.
And then Wemby's gonna come up soon. So,
You think so?
oh yeah, man, I love Wemby,
He's
bro.
been going off.
Dude, rookie year, man.
It's kind of weird seeing him just making those layups and dunking on people so easy.
Blocks, bro.
Yeah.
Defensive player of the year. He'll win like 5 of them. You keep up with ball?
I think I saw. I haven't been watching a lot of the games. I'll keep up with Sports Center and stuff. But
Yeah, I was doing good and all that.
yeah, I think he had gotten like. I think they were comparing him to Gobert.
Yeah.
And he had similar stats to his defensive player of the
Yeah,
year,
like
and it's only like halfway through. I think it's still before the
He already has more
All-Star
blocks.
break, right?
He already has more blocks.
Crazy as a rookie.
Yeah.
What is he? He like 7'12" though, right?
8 feet?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
8 feet. Oh, nah, he's 7'5", I think.
That's crazy.
But most people are crediting him as like 7'4", but I think
Okay.
he's like 7'5". He's
Okay.
20, so he can still kind of like grow a little bit, dude.
His,
Yeah, he has.
his prefrontal's not even fully developed.
Yeah,
so
I learned
might get
that-
an extra inch.
Yeah, dude. I learned that he rarely even lifts weights right now because like he's allowing his body to like fill out the frame naturally.
Okay.
Yo,
The French are different.
yeah, yo, you running still? Yo, how long are you here? We should hit a run, bro.
Oh my god! I didn't bring my running shoes, bro. I'm here to work.
Do some Vans. We'll hit a 1 mile.
Yeah, right. So here and there, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
I'll do like
See how it's travel?
like 2-3 miles. Maybe.
What's a run in San Diego like? Is it nice and fresh all the time? What kind of are you running through like streets or like a
Yeah, I
little
like-
trail?
No, I'll just go on asphalt because it's like the easiest thing to just pick up and go.
Cars around you?
Yeah,
Early morning?
whenever usually if I can't go to the gym, I'll try and get a run in and get like 20-30 minute run before I go to work if I can.
Yeah.
But I mean, if I have nothing to do that day, I'll do in the morning. Maybe even do like a 2 a day.
Damn.
Maybe.
2 runs a
It's
day.
rare,
2
but-
runs a day.
But if I can get 2 workouts in, like I'm about it. But that doesn't happen very often at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else do you try to balance along with that and then your career? What else do you usually try to fit in? Is there any like things that you're trying to learn at the moment or anything like that?
What am I trying to learn? I was trying to learn how to edit videos for a little bit, just like on DaVinci.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, like
Okay.
Resolve. And
It's free, right?
Yeah, that's
It's like
what
a free
I was-
software?
Yeah, that's why I was using it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to pay the monthly for Premiere. That was a big one, and I mean, I think tattooing really keeps me engaged for the most part. But another thing that I was trying to do, I mean, there's a ton of things that I want to do, bro. So many.
Do you consider traveling to be like a component of your life, or is it sort of still too far and few in between? I mean, you do travel between San Diego and El Paso. That's
Yeah.
considered, you know,
Um,
vacationing, I'd say.
I do like to take in other cultures. I think it's very important to get out of your element, especially the way that I've designed my lifestyle. It might be boring for others, but I live and breathe tattooing. It's all I can think about, and it's the practice for me is how not to be so obsessed with that sometimes, where I take time to do other things. And early on, I know tattooing is super versatile, where I can come back from El Paso and San Diego, and it's easy to do that. But if I'm traveling to other places, the last thing I want to do is think about tattooing sometimes, because that's just all I do when I get home. We've been doing traveling to Mexico recently. I've been to Europe a few times, luckily, and there's still a lot. I would love to visit Southeast Asia. I think that is an area that I really want to.
What are some places there? What's Southeast Asia?
Just
like Japan or something?
like the Philippines,
Ooh, true.
Vietnam, like there's like that whole area. Like I don't know if Bali's considered, but I think a lot of the European cultures is westernized in a lot of ways. So if you've been to a big city, it's kind of going to be the same in a lot of aspects, give or take architecture and maybe a siesta or some shit, right? But
What's a siesta? What's that?
like people will shut down in the middle of the day in I don't know if it's all Europe. I think in Spain, but uh, they'll shut down in the middle of the day just to like recuperate, go home, lunch, nap, whatever, and then they'll come back and open at like 3, 4.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? But it's like throughout for most of the city or the country.
Yeah. So it's just like a collective
It's a collective
lunch break.
Break.
Yes.
Dang, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's and even that it's just it's just different. Like it's cool to see those parts of the cultures, but like I just have never been to Asia, so throw me in a rice paddy in the middle of nowhere and just make me be resourceful and shit. So
Bear Grylls,
yeah,
Maui Grills.
yeah, I might have to, I might have to eat some very questionable,
Berries.
yeah, berries or some shit.
You just go on a magical trip. In Asia, man. That'd be awesome. So okay, so if when it comes to tattooing, with how occupied you are with it,
Yeah.
um, you're pretty niched into black and gray work.
Hmm.
But what do you like to go ahead and like consume as like you explore different artists? You know what I mean? What are some of your favorite styles that you may not do yourself?
I like a lot of ornamental stuff, like just like heavy pattern work or a lot of black work that's just more less illustrated things and more uh just more shapes
Like
and
like geometric?
yeah, yeah, like ornamental, like pattern, just like pattern based stuff. Yeah, geometric stuff.
You ever seen sorry to interrupt, like we'll go back and forth a little bit, but like
Yeah, no, it's cool.
a full sleeve where it's like almost like an optical illusion of geometric shapes or something like that? Like what would
Where
be
it's
your
like
thoughts on
bending.
that?
I mean, I think I've seen some really
Like
clean stuff for sure.
interlooping triangles and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah. And I think if done well, like there's plenty of people who know how to do that
Mm-hmm.
correctly, and it's super impressive how well some people can do what they do. Um, I think a lot of traditional stuff's just like I think it just works really well
Mm-hmm.
as a design, and even like from like a screen print standpoint, like
Mm-hmm.
it's really you can see what it is from
It's sharp.
afar. It's
You know,
sharp. Yeah, you don't
punches.
have to like kind of see what it is. You can tell what it is right away. The layers are separate, and it's solid, and it's just gonna stand the test of time. But then you have like the really fine line stuff that I really enjoy the finesse of that
Mm-hmm.
and the look of it and the way that it ages. I just love a lot of I think a lot of Japanese has a elemental like wind or water, and I think that moves super well with the body to where it connects everything
Yeah.
really fluid and has a lot of movement,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that really interests me a lot as well.
Mm-hmm.
And with all those different aspects, knowing how to draw those things, that's really what takes the time to try and do the homework. At least I believe it takes the time to try and understand the rhythms of the movement and the components. And that's really where, it's not even the tattooing that's taking a lot of time sometimes. It's just the homework behind it
Mm-hmm.
and understanding what you need to be able to do to create that specific style, because it's like tattooing as a whole, but then there's how do you tattoo in black and gray realism, how do you tattoo in just traditional, how do you tattoo in ornamental. There are
Mm-hmm.
going to be like different approaches. You're using the same things, but
Mm-hmm.
it's a different approach.
What are your thoughts on artists that kind of do it all? Do you think it's possible to be specialized at anything?
I think that's where it's been moving these past few years. I think there's a lot of tattooers who just want to immediately do their thing and only their thing, which is, if you can manage that, that's awesome for you. I don't have the um I'm interested in so many aspects of tattoos that I like working with people and seeing like what it is, what's your vision, and how do we how do we collaborate on this piece to where you get what you get and I get to do something that, is within my constraints and what I can do. Um, but what was your question? I'm sorry.
What were your thoughts on artists that kind of do it
Oh
all?
yeah, yeah.
Like if it's possible.
So I enjoyed the aspect of versatility. I grew up in tattooing. Like you had to do walk-ins. Whatever came in the doors, that's what you're gonna do, and you just don't complain about it. Like you want to eat, well then you're gonna do a traditional piece, and then do some lettering on the wrist, and then maybe I don't know whatever, right? Like a rose on the shoulder. I never drifted into the realistic part of tattooing because I didn't learn that way. It's something that I have tried and I don't have the patience for it. The homies do. I don't know how they fucking do it. I've tried it and it makes me want to rip my skin apart because I feel like I'm looking at something trying to recreate the actual version of it, and I just like being able to draw something based off of what just illustrating something.
Yeah. Does it feel like less expression?
Yeah,
Yeah.
in a way, and I think it definitely has its approach, but I just don't have that patience, bro, to be like creating something with like a what is it, like a light source, and I don't know. To me, tattooing is a little bit different. I understand it a little bit differently.
Yeah. What was your beginning journey of a tattoo artist? Like I know that you started with Eric Ward?
Yeah, he was. I was getting tattooed by him, and he was really adamant on learning just like the ethics behind tattooing and how to treat tattooing. Not even just like how to tattoo, but just like how to care about what you do and being prepared and always having your designs ready before the clients show up, not wasting other people's time, not taking clients from your friends that are in the same shop and just, like, hey, is it cool if I tattoo? I know he's your client. Is it cool if I tattoo him? Like, that's all right. Cool. I just want to, not trying to step on anybody's toes.
Barber.
Is that how that is?
I guess it can be, you know what I
Okay.
mean? Like if you see somebody that you've been regularly cutting up and
Yeah.
in the seat across, you're probably thinking like,
The fuck?
yeah, probably, bro.
Yo, this homie's trying to catch some hands, bro.
For real, man.
I'm like the most unloyal person who gets their haircut. I'm like, whoever can
You'll go to whoever? Nah, man.
I'm
loyal.
they either move or I gotta find somebody new. So you know how it is.
Yeah.
But yeah. So just caring about what the fuck you do and
Yeah.
just like being prepared and showing up and just. I like having the shop clean. I like having my shit ready before people walk in the door. It might be a little bit of a control thing. I don't know, but I just like don't like that. We'll figure it out because then I feel like I'm just like, I could go a million different ways, and I like to have made all my choices prior to you walking in the door. And sometimes I'll even have a couple of drawings ready. That way, if you don't like the first one, because it does happen, I'm like, okay, but I have this one. Like, you know what I mean? And at this point, I can read people like, what don't you like about it? You could just tell me, like, I'm not going to get butthurt about it, or it's not going to affect.
Would you in the beginning? Did it take a little bit of
like get your ego bruised a little bit?
Yeah.
Of course. But I think that's why now I'm just trying to, avoid that and just have kind of two different approaches and show them that. And more often than not, like I think choosing between two pieces is fine, unless it's like a sleeve. Then I'm not gonna do that, but I'll have them come in and check it out prior to them getting it tattooed.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Nah, sleeves a way bigger commitment.
Right. Or so it's like it could take
Can't
me
draw two sleeves.
You could. It's just gonna take a lot.
Yeah. Sure, I feel you. What in the beginning, when you're, I guess, how do I say it? Like when you started off, and you're over here taking in walk-ins,
Yeah.
and you're doing different styles, whatever. Like, did you consider maybe following into any other things, or was it always kind of like, oh yeah, I'm fucking with this black and gray, like I'm really good at this?
No,
you know
it
what I'm
was.
saying?
I started doing color traditional tattoos.
Yeah.
It's most of the stuff that I have is
Mhm.
color traditional.
If people hit you up, will you knock one out if it's in?
I don't know.
I don't want to put on any news or
No,
anything.
dude,
to have
I'm
you
not.
start-
I'm not. Somebody had hit me up recently, and I was like, I haven't bought colors in such a long time, and I just enjoy the fluidity of not having to clean out my machine in between colors. Like it gets fucking messy. It gets all over my clothes.
Mhm.
But I just really enjoy the look of black and gray, and I enjoy the process of it a lot. And I think that I enjoy like the textures of it and just like the washes. And I think it's something that I just feel more accustomed and just I enjoy it a lot more. And I feel like if I enjoy something, then the other person is gonna get something that's like very well intentioned, like given a lot of thought and love. And I think that sometimes the color just kind of like throws me off a little bit. Plus, um, I think that the way that black and gray heals works a little bit nicer across more skin tones than colors do. So I think that's another reason why I like to just, or that is another reason why I enjoy doing the black and gray stuff because I don't have to take into account like how certain colors will heal on people. Just less
Yeah.
choices, just making it simpler.
Is there a bit of striving to master black and gray that kind of also plays into that a bit? Like you're like, well, before I even try to offer, like I want to be like a master of this. You know what I'm saying? Or is that not really a aspiration of yours? You don't really think of your career in that sense of like, you get what I'm saying?
I think, are you saying
'Cause
that?
those are more like technical reasons why you kind of avoid
Oh, okay.
colors. But is there any like,
Philosophical,
yeah, you know what I'm saying, existential reasons?
yeah, no, I think, I mean, aside from just like workflow
Yeah,
and just like it's easier on that aspect, I just think it's visually more pleasing
true.
to even to the point where they're like it's not as loud
Hmm.
with even what you're wearing. You know what I mean? If everything is black and gray and whatever you wear, it doesn't clash with as much stuff.
Just
Bro,
big ass
I get it.
colors.
I'm right there
Yeah,
with
yeah, I
you.
feel you,
I
bro.
mean, there's the visual aspect on that end, um, and I mean not only that, but I don't feel like I've talked to people who have been tattooing for 20, 30 years and they still feel like they're not a master. And these are people with high work output and they've been doing it longer than I have. And not only tattooing, but any sort of craftsman or any person who the Kobe's, Michael Jordan, like all these people that like a lot of athletes are like that. It's just like you can have so much time and still feel like you're still not gonna master it, and that's where it becomes a practice.
Hmm.
And I feel like that's where it's gonna happen. That's how I feel like I know I'm never gonna master it, and I know I'm a lot better than I was 5 years ago. But at this point, I've just accepted that it's just part of my routine as a being. Like it's just
Yeah.
like I'm gonna try. It's just the effort at this point. It's not the outcome is the outcome, and I can mitigate and try and control those things. But the only thing I could do is like control my effort that I put into these pieces and into these tattoos
Hmm.
because what's kind of weird about tattooing is like a lot of the piece of how it comes into fruition is like it's a lot of how what you're giving me. It's like a it's symbiotic or it's a relation, not inverse relationship, but
Dichotomy.
yeah, I mean, however you sit is how well I'm gonna be able to do my
Oh
job. So
yeah,
if you're
yeah, yeah.
jumping
Yin
around,
and yang.
yeah, so if you're jumping around and you're giving me a hard time, like it's gonna feel like, I mean, aside from like the beginning stages, it's I need people to be just like well rested and quiet, not quiet, but like well rested and just like ready for a tattoo. And sometimes some people try to control the whole part, and it gets really difficult trying to manage those people. And it doesn't happen as much now, but
Hmm.
I've learned to kind of be able to. I'd rather say no to something and somebody trying to control the whole thing than just like letting me do my thing.
At this point, you're appointment only now, right?
I
Well,
mean,
'cause,
pretty
I mean,
much,
the build-
yeah. Yeah, the building that I'm at
The El
is,
Paso one is
yeah.
on the ground, right?
yeah,
I seen it.
yeah.
I drove by it once. I was like, oh, it's right
They did
there.
a good job.
Yeah, it looks nice in there,
They
man.
did a good job.
As far as the one that's like on the fourth floor, it's fourth floor, right?
Fifth.
Fifth?
Yeah.
Ah, I was almost
Close
there, man.
enough.
Damn,
Yeah,
I did
yeah.
my research right.
You up there?
Um, how does a walk-in even happen there? You know?
I mean, it doesn't, but
Ever?
no.
Okay, so
Yeah,
then
so it is appointment only.
okay, but you are. I mean, in the rare case that some like here, for instance, you'll
Yeah.
you'll.
I'm not opposed. Like if I'm in a position, I was just telling the guys right now. I was like, I'm not in a position where I feel like I haven't paid my dues, or like I'm too good for a walk-in. Like,
Yeah,
you know, if
I-
I have the time and I feel like I can do it,
yeah.
I'm gonna be game.
I guess I'm asking because appointment only sort of means it's on the client's sort of end to also do the research and be like, yeah, I mean, I've seen their work. This is like,
Right.
this is gonna translate to the idea I want.
Right.
So I feel like that's what's also helped eliminate a lot of that friction between you and your client. Because a lot of the time now in your career, they kind of know the artist that they're gonna be working.
For the most part,
At least the work, not so
Yeah.
much maybe the how you are personality wise, unless they're
Right.
like a return customer.
Yeah,
client.
yeah. I think with the Instagram and social media, it's been easier for people to be able to look at work across multiple, tattooers, but at the comfort of their own home rather than having to go in a shop.
Yeah.
And I think now people just kind of know what they want. People are a little bit more well versed in the style that they like, or for the most
Well, that's
part,
true.
you
Yeah,
know,
'cause
for
a lot
for
of
the
it's
most
also
part.
you don't have to go into a shop now to look through work now. You know,
No,
you
like-
literally have tattoo books everywhere now.
Yeah, I mean all the
Captions and everything that you need to know what you're looking at.
right, like El Paso tattoo artist or San Diego tattoo artist. You look that up, and then if a picture screams out at you, then you click it, and then you go down the rabbit hole.
In this case, it was I saw the tattoo artist for somebody, or not so much the tattoo artist strictly, but like the a collaborator of a person that I'm also. So like I kind of like discovered you through Kristen.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
that also doesn't happen without the internet and everything like that as well.
Right,
Like,
right.
I'm able to go ahead and follow who other people are working with. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right. Yeah.
Like the web just starts to really expand of like who you know and who's available. Like
Right,
who could I
right.
possibly go to?
And even just seeing the work of what X person has done on whomever, like
Yeah,
you're like, oh, who did that? That's fucking sick. Oh, I
Mhm.
love that style. Like, what's their at or whatever the fuck.
Jesse too.
Yeah, so like
Names.
Jesse has a lot of my early stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
She's like super big supporter in anything I've ever done creatively.
The mains.
Both of them, yeah, Kristen and Jesse. I
Yeah.
have a lot of respect for both of them, and not just because they've given me a lot of support, but they're just like on the grind, always trying to. They're always working on something.
Relatable peers.
Yeah, for sure, and
Yeah.
and I just like people like that. I like what you guys are doing. I just like
Mhm.
people being in their element in whatever that is, whether it's painting, murals, being a surgeon, like cooking, anything, bro. I don't know. I think everything has its art, and it doesn't have to be as traditional as like oil and paint.
Yeah.
There's a lot of gardening is another thing.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Product design, all that type of shit.
Yeah, for real. Outside of tattoo artists, because you mentioned Kobe a little bit right now.
Oh yeah.
Who do you consider some of your biggest? I don't want to say like inspirations, but people that you really follow their philosophy and lifestyle in a sense of like what they do to be able to do what they do. Does that make sense? Like their prep work,
Just
whether
like high achievers or as
I guess like who are your biggest inspirations outside of tattooing? Like, would you consider?
man.
Do you go and read a memoir book of like Kobe Bryant or something like that? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm into a lot of like true crime stuff, like you know what I mean. But I mean, there's like no one specific that I've ever modeled my life after. I think
I guess I don't want to put it in that way. You know what I mean? But like,
Right.
who you find inspiration from? You know what I mean? Like,
fucking anybody and
Yeah, and-
anybody and everywhere. Like you
Yeah.
could learn from anybody, but it's kind of hard to. I think just the people around me, really.
Yeah.
You know, there's no one in specific that really comes to mind because artistically, I try and grab anything that I can from wherever. It's just trying to really be present in that point in time
Yeah.
and yeah, not so much.
I feel you. I feel you. No, I'm just saying like sometimes somebody might be somebody who pulls like I don't know like a morning routine from someone like yo that shit's hard like I want to try that and then they just kind
Right.
of like they integrate it into their life or something like that.
Yeah.
But no, no,
I do like a lot of I really appreciate athletic um athletic just athleticism as a whole because it takes so much to be consistent, especially when it comes to forcing yourself to do stuff that you may or may not want to do.
yeah,
And I mean that whole like Mamba mentality for sure is something that I've fallen very similar to appreciate, and I think that's why it was really hard for when he passed away. A lot of people, it resonated with a lot of people, not just within athleticism, but just the amount of drive that somebody has to want the most
yeah,
out of themselves.
mm-hmm.
And I think that's also carried through to a lot of other people. Like a lot of my friends are just really trying to get the most of themselves as often as they can, and I think that that's really all I'm trying to give to tattooing, and not only to tattooing but it's also to like the people that I am tattooing, because I don't take it lightly that I'm marking somebody's skin for life.
Yeah,
You know, I really do take it serious. And yeah, it's all fun and games for sure, but it's like want to do a really good job. So
mm-hmm.
I try to eat clean. I try to you know, be mentally present and focused and prepared with being able to manage somebody going into a very painful and emotionally and physically tumultuous process that can be tattooing for some people.
Yeah,
There's some people that it's not a spiritual thing for them, but there's been times where people cry on the table because of a conversation that we're having, or because it's so meaningful to get something covered up or to get something done. And I just want to make sure that I'm putting my effort there
mm-hmm.
within, you know, certain boundaries, right?
Yeah,
But um I just want to be present for it.
I feel you.
Yeah.
I can resonate with that. I feel like, especially when you said that the people around you, I think especially in very recent times, I've been finding a lot of the inspiration from like the close circle of people that I've been really like spending often with, because I feel like I'm seeing them and I'm starting to see myself shape out like my surroundings
Mm.
a little bit more intentionally. And I mean, there comes like ups and downs with that. You kind of let go of some people and everything, but at the end of the day, I'm also feel like I don't want to say the word filtering. That seems like a negative way to say it, negative connotation. But like I'm trying to go ahead and make sure that I'm surrounding myself with people that are inspiring me to also strive for like the most of what I'm trying to get out of everything I'm doing. So
Is it just with people or your
things too.
okay? Like what kind of things?
Drinking for sure, man. I'm
Yeah.
still there. You know, I still like to drink and everything, but I think I've been really a lot better at keeping it to just like a podcast session or
Okay.
sometimes at midnight when we go film a musician.
Okay.
And it's a lot less taking my laptop to like, and
Yeah.
then like giving myself the excuse that,
Right.
like, oh, I'm working
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what
I brought my
mean?
laptop.
Yeah, next thing you know,
Yeah.
I'm like 4 beers in, and I'm like, shit, man.
I'm still
you know what I mean?
working. I swear.
Yeah. But it's not just that, it's like the health thing, but it's also like financially, bro. I just want to be a little bit better and smarter with my financial moves. And then like it's so easy to just rack up a $36 tab. Like realistically, I
Right.
won't even like exaggerate and say $80 tabs. It's not
Right.
like out of hand like that, but it's in a realistic sense like 36. Then you got a tip, so it ends up being like 42
Yeah.
because you're a regular there now.
Yeah.
So like
So you gotta
yeah,
you
so
gotta
there's
take care of your people.
expectations
Yeah,
and
yeah.
shit now. You know what I mean? So it's like, dude, it's just a lifestyle. Like lifestyle changes as well,
But
not just like people.
it's the small relationships with money. It can be difficult with people. It's like people assume that like, oh, if I get $1 million, I'd be great. But it's like the relationship with money starts with $1.
Yeah.
It's not with a milli.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you think you have $1, you're already like, if I gave you $20 right now, how much money you got?
None. It's going to MF, man. Going right back to MF. That's one of the biggest
You know what I
things I've
mean?
had
Shit
to
like
really
that.
learn, man.
You know what I mean?
Like nobody's paying us to do MF. It's a self-started production, so we either have a side job
Yeah.
or everything that we do kind of are able to get out of it in terms of money, like it's only going to get bigger if we kind of like invest back into it.
Right.
And so I think MF's been taking strides because I've been trying to take a way more conscious decision on what I'm choosing to spend my money on.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is a lot less personal interest.
Right.
Not in a way where I'm like restricting myself and making life miserable, but
Yeah.
more so in a way where it's like, dude, I have some of my best windows of time are when I'm locked in on some MF stuff. When we're in the middle of a season for midnight sessions.
Okay.
Now that we got the podcast going, dude, this is constant conversations that we're having.
Right.
We wouldn't have these mics if I'm over here. Like David did his part, and I took years, like 3 or 4 years to buy mine because
shit.
I just kept putting off the podcast because I was just trying to
Yeah.
have a chill afternoon here, and then it adds up because you end up doing like 2 or 3 of those a week.
Right.
And it's just like, dude, stuff had to start changing,
it's
man.
hard to get out of the rhythm of doing the same shit, especially if you're getting a lot out of it. If you're feeling like, oh, I'm like decompressing, it's nice.
Yeah, I kept justifying it, man,
Right,
and
right,
it made
right.
it only so much harder to go ahead and. I'm not like I said, like I haven't stopped, but I've been a lot more intentional and deliberate with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so yeah, dude. But like with lifestyle changes comes with like, well, who's kind of influencing me to kind of be in the zone? So that eventually evolved into like, all right, I think I need to kind of refine my circle of people.
I respect that.
And it kind of sucks and stuff, but at the same time, it hasn't really had any backlash, like on like what I'm trying to accomplish. It's gotten me closer to what I'm trying to accomplish.
Right, right.
So I've been getting positive reinforcement from these like sort of sacrifices, if you want to call them. And so it's just kind of giving like it's just building a snowball effect of like, well, let's keep going.
Yeah.
Now I'm waking up easy, dude. I'm waking up before my alarm now at like 4:20 a.m.
Yeah, of course.
That's one vice I can't let go of, man. For sure, I can't. But at the same time, I feel like it's been part of on brand a little bit. So I mean,
I think if it's not affecting you in a negative way,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
yeah, like drinking I'd say now it's become stabilized, and I don't want to sound like I'm trying to justify it again, like
Right.
what I just said I
It also
wasn't doing.
doesn't have to be forever
Yeah.
either.
Yeah. But I think, like you said right now, it all starts with that $1. For me, it starts with like it's not just going out to go buy alcohol. It's also like, what am I like? Am I stopping at Whataburger on the way home? Also, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's the whole entire encompassing of like financial literacy, like making smart sacrifice discipline.
Yeah.
It's not
Discipline.
just the
Yeah.
drinking, but it's just all that,
It's
dude.
my favorite word.
Yeah, it's a good word, dude.
Yeah.
it's a good word.
Not motivation. It's not inspiration. It's discipline for me.
How old were you when you realized you because I feel like you kind of naturally have that drive, that discipline.
How old I was?
When you realized you had that,
It's something I'm still practicing like now, dude. It's I can always find areas where I feel like I'm slacking, but I think once tattooing came into play, that's really where my drinking kind of went down. I haven't stopped necessarily, but I'm like, "Oh, I got to work tomorrow. I'm not going to drink. I want to be like sharp." And then I started spacing it out. I just as long as I have one tattoo every day, then that's where like it started like really cutting down where I wasn't, and just trying to learn how to draw on the front end since I didn't know how to draw very well before tattooing. It would take me a long time to come up with a finished piece on just a design, right? So just like it would just take my evenings, and the guys would be out just just throwing back a few, and I'm like I need to have this ready before I walk in or else I'm gonna get in
You
trouble.
FOMO from
Yeah.
that? You get some FOMO from that at first? Like, damn, dude,
Yeah, for real. Yeah, sometimes for a little bit, and then afterwards it's like
It fades away.
because it's like the people who matter, they won't mind
True.
at the end of the day. Like if the people that are mad at you for making a change in your life that's better for you, then are they really your homies? Because it seems like a homie would be happy for you for making positive changes instead of doing the opposite.
Yeah.
So I never caught, I mean, they would fuck around and be like, "Oh, come on, bro, just
Yeah,
come
yeah.
out and have a couple drinks." But I think it's a daily thing, dude. It's just like, should I go home and cook, or should I just blow 20, $40 on to go? And sometimes I'll be like, you know what? I don't feel like it at all. I'm taxed. I'm like, I'm at a zero right now. I'm not gonna go out and start cooking because it's like cooking. You got to clean. It's a whole thing. But um, I think even just learning how to uh, manage not only financial literacy but just like mental bandwidth is also like a big one too, right? Where how to preserve that and being able to get through the week and making the choices to where you can feel like you can preserve that energy and use it most effectively.
Yeah. Not just that, but like,
What was that?
Managing your energy.
Yeah, for sure.
And I feel like that's what also helps with those moments of like discipline
Mm.
is knowing where to put your energy as an outlet to help you with something like, for example, like, oh, I want to do this, but I'm passionate. Like, there's some sort of drive in this art or whatever it is that you do.
Mm-hmm.
And chasing that is kind of what helps you push away all these bad habits,
Right.
tendencies.
Right.
So it's just like knowing where to put your energy.
And
And if you put it in the right spot, everything else just kind of lines up.
right.
that includes like baggage too, you know what I mean? Stuff that you just been like letting just weigh you down mentally and stuff. So like that was another thing I feel like I had to let go of over the last few years is just a lot of stuff that I've been so like caught up on like in the past. I'm just thinking like it's time to move on from that stuff, bro. Like if I keep dragging that on, it's taking up even like 5% of like that bandwidth, you know. And it's like I'd rather free that
It's
up.
just big. It's just back there. Just
I'd rather free that 5 up for like working at with my laptop at Tin Man, you know.
You know what I mean? Something.
But yeah, dude, like there's so much that comes into play when it came to like adjusting, and I feel like you relate to that a lot, man. Like,
Yeah, I think I've definitely not only the hard thing about learning how to draw and learning all the technical aspects of craftsmanship and learning how to cook to drive down spending money out and all that shit, like all the mental load of baggage that you carry with you and all the shit that you are pissed off at yourself about for doing when you were a kid or a teenager or early 20s and you're still holding on to that shit or that one thing you could have said that could have changed your life. Like, dude,
mhm.
it's it's so hard to get out of that narrative, but I think that's the hardest work that has been the most life changing, like mentally, because it's hard to rework that narrative that you didn't realize you had to whatever capacity that was growing up. So like convincing yourself otherwise, because a lot of the success that people have, it's not timing. Yeah, that's a big thing, like timing and like what's it, like external issues, but it's like the psychology of how strong you are mentally can get you through the ups and the downs, because it's gonna happen. There's gonna be good days and there's gonna be bad days. So like, why
Yeah.
even bitch about it?
Yeah, the way you handle adversity,
Yeah,
it plays a lot into the next couple days, and then all that stuff evolves into like how you've been handling it over the last couple weeks per se.
yeah,
Like a challenging time.
right.
That stuff can really snowball into like the outcomes of the rest of the year.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So yeah, just seeing all that. You know how you said earlier that having a tattoo a day progressively kept you out of, like vices and stuff like that?
right.
I think that's been a big thing here too. That's a really good thing about the podcast. It's a lot
Yeah.
more frequent, and it's allowed
Right.
us to just kind of lock in. Because before we even, me especially, like I'll speak for myself, but like before I have too much time to linger on and get bored and try to like, buy something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Get a dopamine hit.
Yeah, it's time for more work. And so
Yeah,
like I've really been trying to like surround myself with what we're trying to accomplish
right.
in all scales. Like this was like a more of an upfront cost, getting the mixer and all that. But now it's like we can just invite someone here. We're not
Yeah.
renting studio space for it or anything like that. And it's allowed us to really fulfill what it is that we're trying to accomplish. It's hard to say that when we also have to buy studio time and everything, so it's hard
Right.
to prove it because it's like, well, we can only go as much as we're
Yeah.
afford.
And
Here, it's like, well, we can go as hard as we're
you have
willing.
no excuses.
Yeah,
at
as
that
hard as
point.
we're willing to.
Right.
But I feel like the trajectory of your career is like a very positive example of somebody becoming obsessed within their work, passionate within their work. You know, because it led to a lot of like other positive lifestyle choices.
Yeah.
That's
for
why I asked
sure.
earlier about running because like I really, I guess, admire the fact that you're like a positive representation of a tattoo artist.
Thank you, bro.
I don't know if this is stereotypical to say, but when I think of somebody who like takes his own breaks to go like smoke a cigarette or like or they show up and they were drinking the night before and stuff
Yeah.
like that because of the fact that it's sort of like a rock star sort of occupation, you know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
So it's really easy to fall into a stigma that you're somebody with sleeves and you tattoo and they probably think that you stay up late, you probably always eat like Chinese takeout or something like that.
Yeah. That orange chicken hits, bro.
Yeah, I mean it's don't get me wrong, but
For real.
that's what I meant. Like when I really admire the lifestyle that you. I mean, it's not like you're throwing it out into the world of what you do outside of tattooing, but you get glimpses of it, and I think it's really cool to see
I
somebody
appreciate that.
who's in that space still handle life in a very I don't know, like upper valley sort of like they get up and they run and they cook for themselves sort of thing, you know?
It didn't happen. It wasn't like that growing up, bro. It was definitely like I only know that part
Mm-hmm.
because I was the opposite.
So, yeah, I agree.
And I was the opposite at 13, 14, 15, drinking a lot, smoking a ton at a young age, bro. Like I don't know how many brain cells I fucked off because of how heavy I went in on just like getting fucked up as a young kid. I blacked out so many times during high school, didn't remember a ton of shit, and that's the only reason why that didn't happen in my 20s because
Early?
I hit it early. You know what I mean? But and now it's just like my body can't take it. I mean, it could. And don't get me wrong, I'll still fuck off like a few days here and there. Like, I think that's also part of the balance of life. It's like it's not all work, and you have to play and have fun and enjoy the people around you. And I mean, I was supposed to come and tattoo and during Christmas time, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna chill with my family and just enjoy the time that I have with them.
Mm-hmm.
Be a human.
What's up?
Be a human.
For real. Yeah, because I think if you there's like that really weird line of identifying yourself with your work so much that like if you don't have I've used this analogy a bunch of times. Like it's like you need to diversify where you're getting you need to fucking diversify your life for real. Because if I only have tattooing and that's giving me everything, that's giving me social, it's giving me money, it's giving me praise. Like if that's the only thing that's like giving me that, and I don't have that, that's like a table with one fucking leg.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I need to have it in other places. I need to have it for my fucking self.
Unless you're one of those special tables that stands on one leg,
Yeah,
you know what
fuck
I mean?
yeah.
Those ergonomics.
No shit.
Oh shit, man. What kind of tattooing,
Yeah.
the art of it, learning it inspired you to go ahead and form better habits.
Mhm.
What are some of the things that kind of came at you business side that
Yeah.
like made you think, dude, if I'm a sloppy, like I'm not gonna know any of this shit. So like you had to buckle down and not just learn about tattooing, but you also had to learn about it's like let's talk about how you've evolved your approach to pricing.
Okay.
You start off at a certain point. I'm sure you're probably just taking
You're free.
freebies.
Yeah.
dude.
Who wants free tats? I love
Yeah.
the. Thank you for everybody in the music scene who got like the early shit because without you guys, I wouldn't be here.
Shout out.
Yeah, for real. No, for real. Like that's I think the people in the scene were super fucking supportive about when I started. They're like letting me tattoo them, fully knowing that I didn't know what I was fucking doing, and I was barely getting into it.
Yeah.
You know.
When you started did you ever have to start with like the shop that you started at? Did you ever have to kind of abide to what they price, like a shop, or did you?
So yeah, so the pricing issue or not issue, but as far as pricing went, it was just did a bunch of free stuff and then just going on according to the quality. I think what Kristen had said about the pricing, it's like you can't be charging 2 years in to somebody who's been tattooing 10 years in or 15 years in or whatever they've been doing, right? So pricing accordingly to your skill set, for sure. Um, a lot of what comes with pricing more expensive tattoos. It's you're paying for the cost of the amount of time that it's just taking to learn the knowledge and the amount of tattoos that have had to be done prior to yours being done.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work that gets done on that. But I mean, I even think pricing is dynamic between every single person. So how do you want to do a sleeve? Are you as an artist willing to take a price cut on on a sleeve just so you can start to learn how to do it bigger pieces, or do you not want to, like, you know what I mean, like how much how what's worth your time more? Is it the money or is it the experience of what you're trying to accomplish?
Yeah.
And I think that changes all the time. You know what I mean? I wouldn't charge. It's like are you going to charge somebody that's doing a full? Somebody's giving you a full body suit, and you're going to charge them for how you would charge somebody for a small piece? Like, no, I think there has to be some sort of agreement to both parties being comfortable, and I think the pricing is going to change according to what you feel is important for you at the time. You know what I mean? Or how you value yourself is another one,
Yeah.
because that's a big, I think a lot of artists have a hard time pricing themselves accordingly. And it's just, I mean, if you want to make it super simple for yourself, it's like, how much do you want to get paid an hour?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And for you, if you're itemizing your time and you're really just like taking down, like, okay, well, I worked on this 100 hours or whatever the fuck, like, and you're only charging like $50, like, you're totally underpricing yourself because you don't give yourself, like, I want to make $30 an hour. This painting, it took me 6 hours. You know what I mean? 900, a G. And that's it. Like, it doesn't have to be this complicated thing of like, how much am I worth? And like, you know what I mean?
I'm sure you factor in a little bit of what you have to also cover, though, right? Like your materials.
Materials
Well,
and
how
just
how have those costs evolved? Because when you start off, I'm sure you're kind of maybe just doing materials, maybe like
depends on the shop.
maybe like a fee for the chair, like at the
Depends
spot.
on the shop.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so it could be commission, it could be booth rental. It just depends like what your agreement is. The commissions can be different per shop.
yeah,
What is the shop providing? That there's it just changes on that end too as well.
yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure now with After 10, I'm sure you like incur like full blown like rental costs now, right? Like for the whole building at some point, or
What do you mean?
like for After 10, do you just rent out a space, or do you also take part in like no, I also help with the building, like our whole studio space as well. Does that make sense?
Like, are you saying am I only in charge of like my cut?
Yeah, like your space. Like, did you come into After 10?
Like as a partner?
Yeah, like, did you start up
It's
with it?
Angel's shop. Like,
Okay,
it's Angel's shop. It's not my shop. Like, it's his.
okay,
But he gives me enough flexibility for me to feel comfortable to make changes how I see fit. You know what I mean?
okay.
I brought it in. I've talked. I think when I first went in, I went in super hot, and I'm like, "Yo, we could put like all this shit," and he's like, "Yo, just chill, chill, chill." But I'm
Yeah,
just like, I was just really excited, and but no, he was. I think he's really good at being flexible, and you know, he doesn't have uh, he's not hard pressed for it to be his way within certain parameters, you know. And I think that him and I work very similarly. So I think the way that he wants to present the shop, or even just present his space to clients, I'm the same way where I just want everything, I just want it presentable. I want, you know, the image is high quality. I want, like, you need the nice lights to be able to get certain things. Like, um, is a lot of that stuff necessary? Maybe not. You could definitely have like a minimum, a more of a minimum effort,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not what he's trying to do. That's not what I'm trying to do. So I think it's just quality over quantity at the end of the day.
Yeah. So then you think that like do you think when you're kind of deciding how you go about pricing your work, do you feel like you're heavily considering the entire experience that you're providing as well? Like, well, I mean, look at how I have set up lighting for the entire thing. Look at how I've cleaned up and everything
It
like
just,
that.
again, I think it's dynamic pricing. How's the economy like? Do you have rent to pay? How many tattoos have you done
Yeah.
that week? You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, am I gonna, you're gonna charge somebody super hard
Yeah.
and not get anything, or like, all right, I'll take a break and just fucking tattoo somebody just to get some money in.
Mm-hmm.
How much are you booking? Are you booking a lot? Okay. Well, then maybe you can increase, like, if you're booking a ton, then you can start to increase your price. And then mm, if you're taking a hit on the traffic, but you're still making the same money, then you're fine. But, at the end of the day, it's how much you also have to decide how much do you need to make monthly for you to feel comfortable
Mm-hmm.
to be able to live your life. Do you need to make 1,000 a week? Do you need to make 5,000 a week? Okay. How many days a week do you want to work? 5 days, 4 days, 6 days? Break it up to really manageable.
Reverse engineered almost.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Take all your expenses and then work backwards from there. Okay, I'm spending 6 grand a month. How much money do I need to make?
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
Yeah.
That's how much you need to make a day.
Along with pricing, um, was kind of like branding yourself and marketing a bit of a challenge for you, or did you like learning about the different channels of how to like share your work? Okay, so for clarity, real quick,
Yeah.
how long have you been tattooing for?
Like 2017? No, 9 years, 9 to 10 years.
So you
I'm almost at the 10 year, I think.
you've had social media within your career then the entire time.
I've always I've had social media since fucking like MySpace pretty much, and I was like
Before
13.
your first tattoo?
Before I was even tattooing, I was already on social media.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we grew up with that type of shit.
Yeah. So then how does your marketing evolve when you first start off as an artist to like now? Like how many things have you sort of oh, I should probably take that serious. I probably can't just like
Fuck off.
yeah, with that. You know what I mean?
I think it's always just been something that I enjoy. I've always enjoyed sharing what I'm working on.
Mm-hmm.
Even before I started apprenticing, I was posting some dog shit like terrible drawings. Like
Mm-hmm.
obviously they're beginning, so it's just like humorous, but they were bad. But that's part of the fucking process. It's like you feel comfortable enough to just show it. And however that happens, and if there's a good response, cool. If there's not, then it's fine. But I think I've always grown up with social media, so it's not something that I've ever felt that I had to take serious up until maybe like 5 years ago or some shit. I was already in San Diego. People were like that. Then the influencers started being a thing, and like the really nice feeds that are very like polished and like pristine, and like that started being a thing. And I was like, oh fuck, like I guess I gotta start doing that and like playing the algorithm game. And um, I think that it's something that I've always just like grown up within. I don't know tattooing without it, so I think that's a big lens of how I present my stuff is through the social media like
Mm-hmm.
algorithms. So it's a big push to learn how that it's been a big push for me how I want to present my stuff like the reels that I've been doing, the videos, like filming them in a certain 4K and learning how to compress those correctly. And like that's all been just because I want to present it as professional as I can, but also that's just how I am and how I want to showcase that.
Like even like let's say you weren't doing it on social media, you were creating a physical presentation, you'd still approach it the same way, trying to
Probably.
go ahead and be
Yeah, dude. I just like to nerd out. I
yeah.
like geek out on like the details of certain stuff, and I just like doing things how I feel like it should be proper. Is it the only way? No, you can get away with doing some other shit, but
Mm-hmm.
I just spent like 10 hours trying to research like espresso machines and grinders, dude. And I still didn't buy fucking shit because I was like, no, it's not the right one. The burr grinder, this burr grinder is not it.
You weren't satisfied?
No, and like I'm not gonna do it because I do that so many times where like I am like come up with this new hobby and I want to do like new shit and it takes me away from like dude I'm like my values in tattooing, like that's where I need to refocus a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Inconclusive findings.
for sure.
Okay, what was your approach? You start off in El Paso, but when you go to San Diego, is it almost a blank slate? Like, what was your approach in building clientele and business?
Oh, it was blank for sure. I think I got lucky because going into full circle, Bill Canales is from El Paso, and he just jumped around between there and here trying to get some shops going, and he ended up, relocating back to San Diego, and so that shop had been going for a few years strong before I even arrived. Uh, and they were opening up a new spot. So with them opening up a new shop, I had a chance to kind of like finagle my way in there, but brand new. I mean, there was a point where there was talks that he was like, maybe it's not a good idea to show up because it's like a little tough right now. And I told him, I was like, dude, I was like, I think it's worth. It's not your responsibility to get me work. It's not the shop's responsibility. That's up to me. It's up to me to talk to people. It's up to me to be a good enough artist that people are seeking me out. So like, it's not up to the shop at all. Like, it's what are you doing to bring people in? And maybe your shit sucks because nobody wants it. So you're presenting it wrong. Maybe your lines are crooked. Maybe your pictures are bad. Maybe work on your customer service. Maybe you have a shitty attitude. Like, there's a lot of little things that, like, it's not only like the tattoo and that physical process, but it's also, there's a lot of customer service, but also just there's a lot of nuances of how to navigate that with people. Um, and I think the good thing about going there is that they just had a lot of walk-ins at the shop. So either way, like whatever I could do, I tried to do it as best as I could, even if, it wasn't as good as I could probably do it now. It's just what I could do as good as I could do it at the time, but the volume of consistency was equal, if not greater, than being here at El Paso, because I left West Texas 2 years after I started, and that's when I barely started getting into doing bigger stuff. And then I got moved over there, and then it back to bottom of the ladder. I'm like, that was a hard transition, like mentally, imposter syndrome. Like, what the fuck am I doing here, bro? Like, there was one day where everybody walked in, or they had a photo shoot of all the big stuff, like chest pieces, leg sleeves, like bodysuits. And I was like, I can do a tattoo like this big. You know what I mean? And I'm with some fucking heavy hitters, and I'm like, fuck, dude, why am I here, bro? But that pressure cooker of just like, get good or get out, like,
Yeah.
get your shit together.
Something like moving to San Diego is not one of those things where you could just let me get out real quick. You know what I mean? Like, you just moved.
Right.
So
I mean, you could. It's easy to come back, but I even told my mom, because I still had that room that like the room that I grew up in, and I was like, as soon as I leave, please change this fucking room because I do not want to come back. Like, burn the boats almost type shit. Where like I don't want to come back, and not because I didn't want to be in the house, but I just like needed to just have the moxie to like do something and be somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just like get my shit together and just become a fucking productive member.
Just betting on yourself.
Pretty much. Yeah, for sure. And I think that's hard to do in a lot of aspects, for sure. But
I can see why tattooing has really like instantly, almost immediately into tattooing has pushed you to go ahead and buckle down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With just like your responsibilities and everything. Because 2 years in, you're over here in a whole. So you moved out. You moved out. That was the first time you moved out too.
No, so that was another thing. That's not the first time I moved out.
Oh, okay.
I moved out at I was 18 and I left the house.
Okay.
So I always had that hunger to go and see what else other places had going on. I just had a hard time because I didn't have my why. My why wasn't strong enough, right? Like my
Okay.
purpose wasn't there.
Yeah, yeah.
So what was I doing? Smoking, drinking, chilling.
Floating around with the
Just,
art.
you know what I
Not
mean?
really like.
Yeah, not
yeah.
not being decisive and being intentional with my shit. I was a kid though. It's like you're 18, 19,
you're not.
20.
You think you're supposed to, but
You don't know
you're
shit.
likely not.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
want
you
to
know
fuck
what I mean?
off, and like you just finished going to school for a bunch of years, and you don't want to go back to that situation. So I came back, and that's when I started going to school again. But yeah, I think I really wanted to make it work over there, and I think it was probably one of the best decisions that I made for myself because I put so much into it, but also just like the people that I met, the experiences that I've been able to have, and I just really enjoy being in San Diego as it's just a beautiful place.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's expensive, but I mean, fuck, like, what are you gonna do?
But I was able to get some pre rolls like at 3 a.m.
You know, for a
Can't-
buck.
Can't beat that,
That's
man. They dropped
crazy,
it
dude.
off
And his
everything.
delivery too.
Yep,
That shit's
3
nuts.
a.m.
That
man.
shit's wild, bro.
Dude, that was the first night because I had a late flight that day, and it was a bitch to get into the Airbnb itself. And then by the time I was like, damn, where am I gonna go?
Left you outside, huh?
So I Ubered it to like some janky ass brewery bar sort of place, and then that's when
Yeah.
I started. It was the beer.
Yeah.
The beer just gave me that light bulb over my head, like
Ding.
24-hour dispensary. Sure enough, they had
Yeah.
delivery too.
Yeah, that was the just
But it was
primed you.
cash only, and I had
No
no
shit.
cash. I was gonna get cash the next day,
Yeah.
because I had to pull it out for there's a Wells Fargo right next to the
Right,
shop.
right.
But in this case, it was like, oh shit! So like I ran like a mile and a half to a gas station to get like the cash out because I
Yeah.
was like, man, I'm fiending right
No
now. Like I'm
shit.
in San Diego. And
Yeah.
I have this badass Airbnb, and there's this.
And I ain't got no smoke.
Yeah, dude, for real, man. Late night flights. Last time I'm doing that.
Oh fuck.
We did ACL at Austin in October,
This
early morning flight, and I was
Okay.
like, "Oh, dude, this is perfect." Like, we got there like at 9 a.m. We
You
had
hit the ground.
breakfast.
You hit the ground running, and you're good.
We got there and had breakfast.
Y'all
bro.
both went.
Yeah.
Oh fuck yeah. Who'd you guys go
Different
see?
flights though, but we saw Kendrick, dude.
That's sick.
Yes.
Oh fuck yeah.
Did
Did they headline? Who headlined?
Foo Fighters, right?
That sounds like the Foo Fighters.
Red Hot.
Red Hot.
Oh okay.
Okay, yeah. I don't
You
get
say
this.
it's October, right?
Yeah, it's
It's still
October.
hot over there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
dude.
still-
First day we were
It's
in
still warm over here.
We were in
in
some shuttle
October.
lines. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
It just got cold like late December for us, I think.
I think the seasons have just shifted
Global
Yeah,
warming.
later for sure.
Winter's getting. It's getting. here
Winter's like in
later.
March and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a theory that's presented in a meme about if every month was just 28 days long,
Yeah.
we'd have perfect weeks and perfect years.
And everything would be
Oh, but you'd
perfect.
have to make a 13th month though. It's like 13 months, but they're all 28 days.
And everything shitty happens on that month.
Oh, dude,
it's just
the
just
worst
bad
month.
luck, dude. That whole month.
This is the worst month to have.
Just batch
man.
all your shitty luck onto that month. I'll take that. I'll take a one shitty month
for,
for 12 good ones. I think that's a solid ratio.
and it always ends on a Monday, starts on a Monday and ends on a Sunday. Like it's perfectly lined
no
up.
shit.
Yeah, that's what I loved about the beginning of this year. It started on a Monday. It was
it?
no excuse, unless you don't use New Year's as a launching pad. I do. I like to use it as a launch pad.
I don't.
It's because like I'm not changing anything that I'm doing, but it's just sort of like a recalibration.
Right.
I don't just use New Year's Day. I use like the last 2 weeks of the year to go in and just sort of
okay.
like, you know.
That's a little better for sure because at least you're not.
Well, maybe now with that in mind, people can start to appreciate New Year's a little bit. I started thinking about it. I think it's my favorite holiday.
No shit.
Yeah.
The rebirth.
Yeah. I was born on the 26th of December, so it's like all lined up too.
Oh, I think no wait. My nephew's born on the 28th. 26th.
The further away, the
28th?
better, man. My birthday was.
Yeah.
I would just get a whack ass
You just
happy
get one
birthday at
present.
school. Yeah,
Oh, that's
but
your
no,
Christmas and
as
your
a
birthday
kid,
present.
as a kid, I was spoiled, but early, like now, it's like nothing.
Yeah,
And
we
if
just
it is,
skimp on
if
you,
it is
bro.
something, it is exactly that one
That's
gift for
so
that. But
fucking
also at
funny.
school, never had no pizza party just for me.
No
Had to
shit.
share it
Oh,
with all
that's
the winter break
right.
kids.
That's right.
'Cause all the winter break kids.
Put all the birthdays in 1 month, bro.
Yeah, it's like when back then we would just kind of group like anybody that was in Spanish classes as like the Spanish kids, not knowing how like terrible that sounded like growing up. But that's how I was, but like the winter break kid, winter
Yeah,
break
yeah,
birthday kid.
yeah.
All right, yo. So we evolve and you start to get a little bit busier.
Mm.
What was I wanted to ask this specifically because we kind of entertain the idea sometimes and think about when it's gonna come. But what was that point when you realized I need an assistant? Like I need somebody to kind of like help me out on my stuff, not just somebody who works in the shop with me and we all keep it clean. Like I have somebody who deliberately takes care of some of the menial tasks that I just really either don't want or don't have time to do no more.
They're just switching from Full Circle to After 10, because After 10 or because Full Circle has a front person who would take care of that.
Okay.
So I got used to not having to worry about the response on that aspect, and they would take care of just like funneling people into like the shop and taking care of setting up the appointments. And I just am good at a lot of things that I feel like, but emailing people is not one of them. It's just like, it's a lot to get people to just like get into the door. So I feel like at that point, I'd rather throw some money at a situation where I feel like it's easier to do that. Yeah, I lose money, but then I gain time. So
Yeah.
I'd rather be richer in time than having like within certain situations, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, do I want to spend fucking 2, 3, 4 hours doing this shit, or do I just pay somebody and then like I get to do my own thing and then just like try and make more money that way?
Yeah. You ever get so busy, you think you'd ever open up to be like, I'd rather just pay someone to cut these reels up for me, or is that something you don't think you'd let go because there's too much creative expression?
No, I
to
think
you?
I would have to actually have reels or video recorded.
Oh, recorded, yeah.
So I don't even like, sometimes I'm so concerned with just the tattoo that I don't want to have to set up a tripod and then like hold on, like let me make sure that your like the composition's correct, because it's just me sometimes in
Yeah.
San Diego. Angel's gonna be here at the After 10 here downtown, so nobody's over there, it's just me, and so I don't have anybody else to help me be creating the video content while I'm in the process of doing something else. And I think that
Yeah, if you were to focus on that too, it would kind of take away from the quality of the tattoo. 'Cause now your
Yeah.
attention's getting divided.
yeah, a little bit. And so I mean, I think that that's also like the difficult part of yeah, that would be great, even if I could find somebody to just cut it up for me. Like I just need to get in the habit of being more consistent in recording, but also at the same time it's like, how many times can I re-record a tattoo process being done?
Yeah.
Here's the design, here's the outline, here's the shading, here's the finished product. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just show me the tattoo, bro. I'm like, all right, cool.
That'd be cool to have a production team around the
Oh, for
shop,
sure.
dude. That'd be so
Yeah.
sweet.
I mean, I've seen shops that do have that, but it's just like, you know,
Levels, like next steps and stuff.
it's just a private studio back there, so it's just really clean cut, simple. There's just not, you know.
So if both you and Angel are in San Diego, is After 10 just temporarily like not operating at the moment in El Paso? Or-
No, it's George,
Oh, okay. True.
George, Ernie, and Jesus.
Oh, there's a few heads there.
Yeah. They're busy doing their thing there, and so Angel's the one that just like comes back and forth for sure.
And then you'll do it in very rare spurts.
I'm trying to do once a quarter now.
And then when you do stop by, you're trying to do longer than like 3 days. You're trying to do like longer bits, like a week maybe.
Yeah, I think it just gets a little bit hard to try and hang out with my family and see people and be comfortable with the process. So, I mean, even a week's not I would think a week's a good amount of time.
In hindsight, now this makes me more appreciative that you're here sitting down and chatting with us, because like I know that you come by and you're busy.
Well, you visited me, dude. Now it's my turn to, pay it back to you.
Well, in theory, I went ahead and went directly for that, and then I visited the brewery right after,
Fuck yeah.
and then got a I was like, all right, dude, I'm just gonna chill here for like one more day. I literally flew in there, slept, woke up, went to tattoo, and then left the very like next day.
Did you get a direct flight? Was it
Yeah, I
direct?
had
Okay,
to, man.
cool.
Oh,
Okay.
that's beautiful.
Because
Direct
that didn't
flights are
start
crazy.
happening till like last year.
Yeah, and it's like 2 hours max, I think.
Yeah.
So easy, dude.
Before you had to stop in
Like
Phoenix
or something like
and
that.
it would be like a 5-hour flight, and I'm like, bro.
That's crazy because I don't really know too much about flights. Like most of my flights have been, yeah, honestly, like I'm more flying like lately now.
Yeah.
So like all I've known are direct flights.
Okay.
A luxury lifestyle.
It really is for real.
Luxury.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is gonna be like pre-recorded, but once a quarter, I mean. Oh, okay. I wanted to ask you this. Throughout your time, and we can maybe close off on this.
Okay.
Just a little bit of not banter, but what have been your experiences in San Diego tattoo culture versus El Paso tattoo culture? Maybe between the clients, maybe between the artists. Like like I'm sure you can stereotype and but not in a negative connotation.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you see a lot of similarities between El Paso based artists.
Right.
Do you see a different sort of?
Dude, well, like tattooing over there, I think, um, for some reason, people still hit me up for colored pieces here sometimes, and I'm like, where do you see that on my portfolio? Like, I haven't done that shit in a grip of time.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like I said, Bill is from El Paso. Bill Canales, owner of Full Circle, is from El Paso, and it was me. Pete Vaca was there from El Paso. Devix, also from El Paso. Me. So it's like, they're dudes from El Paso. But, I mean, I think they were they're just workhorses. And I think I think I've been lucky to be in the position where Eric and Selena with West Texas Tattoo were like that off the jump. It was never about like a fucking a hangout spot, and maybe it makes it sound like it's very like work and structured, but I do so well in those environments where it's not so chaotic, and I mean it's I haven't had a chance to really gel with a lot of other tattooers outside the ones that I've worked within it at those shops. You know what I mean? But I mean, there similarities. It's like everyone's a little bit different, but we're all like the whole lens is through tattooing, and I think a lot of people seem pretty open with whatever it is that I'm trying to do at this point. I mean, maybe just like uh, the the pricing, like people here still a little bit like, oh, that seems kind of like a lot versus over there, but it's also, the cost of living is different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it might change a little bit. Um, Maybe tipping culture a little bit, but it's not. It's some people just. I think there's a lot of money going around in San Diego sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's I don't. I guess if some people I could see them being like work. They see that as like a turn off for a venue or a place or something. But
Could
for
be,
me, the
for
way I
some
see it
people.
is, it's important to have like a dedicated space where work happens.
Yeah.
That way, it's focused and everything, and you
Right.
get the best tattoo out of it. But and then when you step out, yeah, if you want, like, yeah, fuck around then. Like,
Yeah.
I don't. I feel like that's just like being able to apply order to yourself instead of needing a teacher to do it for you or a
Yeah,
parent to do
right.
that. Like, you know what I mean? So, nah, man.
It's the context of what's happening. It's like,
Yeah.
you're like if you have a cushion on the side of your room and you're like, oh, that's where I meditate. Or I sit there and I just like I'll meditate there or whatever. Like, just I think priming yourself to be able to do things in particular places, and like so anytime I go into a tattoo shop, it's like something's gonna be I'm gonna make something whether it goes on the gram or whether I like it or not. Like it's part of the process, and I think it's just respecting it as it being that and not being super judgmental on like, oh fuck, like what does it say about me, or I don't know. It's just it's very process based for me right now.
Maui. Maui P, dog.
We out here.
Big legends, bro. Big legends. Now, so I guess then in that case, this episode will be out after your stay here in El Paso, but I guess we can see you maybe sometime before the summer, sometime springtime.
I'm going to be back late April. There's a convention here in town.
Oh,
And so I'll be here April 22nd.
that's
to-
April 20th too. That's 422.
Yeah, it is.
Get it?
Damn,
422.
I'm missing my mom's birthday, actually. Maybe I should come a little bit
A
earlier.
little bit.
But yeah, I'll be there for that time and then be there for like a week.
And then people can go ahead. Oh, well, it's a convention, so you won't really be
I'm going to be here for the week tattooing.
at after 10 too?
Yeah. So just to get a couple extra days.
So people will be able to reach out to you for some black and gray work. What can I reach you out for?
Please.
I'll let you describe it.
Oh, wait, what do you mean?
Did I describe it perfectly? Black and gray work? I don't know if
Yeah,
you say black
no,
and gray surrealism. What do you say?
Just black and gray.
Black and gray?
Yeah.
Where can they find you?
At Mauricio Pastor, Instagram.
Website booking?
Same thing. .com.
.com.
Yeah.
.edu.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. We'll take that out so we don't get
.org.
confused.
Yeah.
True, man. It was really cool to learn a little bit more, and it was really cool to have you come by to the HQ.
Appreciate it. Man.
And yeah, man. Like I said, dude, I love consistency across my limbs. So like one arm is for something else, one arm's for something else. But hopefully we can get some more work in soon on the leg,
bro.
man.
Yeah,
Some new
appreciate it.
ideas. We won't have to be working on top of anything that already exists there next time. So we'll
It
have
could be fun sometimes.
we'll have a full blown
Yeah.
original piece, bro.
I hear you.
It's nothing but positive reception about the tattoo as well, man.
Okay.
A lot of people don't even know what was there underneath. They can't see it. So I'm like, dude, perfect.
There you go.
Perfect, man. But also what it represents, dude. They love the piece and it's cool.
You got to tell them it to cover up sometimes.
Just if they know that I had something else there
Oh,
before,
okay.
I'll go and like, do you see it? Do you see where it was?
Right.
But also if it's the first time they see my leg, nah, I don't tell them about it. And then honestly, bro, I know it sounds crazy and maybe a little corny, but like I'm so much more confident wearing shorts again, dude.
Bro,
Straight up. Like,
I fucking don't. No, you're
straight up, bro.
100%. I totally get you. Even just getting tattooed makes me feel more like myself.
Yeah, I feel that, man. So I really do appreciate that because that's how we met.
Yeah.
And it's a really cool way to meet and everything. So I hope that we can keep extending the friendship, bro. It's
Yeah,
really
fuck
cool to have
yeah.
you come by and
No, I
hopefully I can
appreciate
stop
it.
by and either here or San Diego. I don't mind, man. I don't mind staying out there. But hey, yo, man, Maui P in the building. You know what it is over here. Oh, hold on, shit. There we go. I lowered it. I thought that was the buzzing earlier. But hey, man, that's what it is. That's what we do over here in the stew at the HQ. We do it. We talk legends only every Wednesday. Make sure you guys show love to the channels. Make sure you go to mfpearl.com and see all of our content. YouTube, make sure you subscribe. Spotify, Apple, all that stuff. Make sure you go ahead and rate the show, rate the program, rate each episode. Whatever you guys can do to show love, we appreciate it. But we'll see you guys on the next Wednesday live at MFHQ.